Hello everyone. So today we will discuss about the clustering algorithms such that K-means clustering algorithms and hierarchical clustering algorithms, and we will see how these algorithm works, and it will be explained over here with the suitable examples. Now just see, we have already discussed about clustering and these clustering methods in our previous lecture. Then what is clustering? So clustering is grouping of the data points into a set of clusters, in a set of classes, in a set of groups. That is called clustering. So these techniques, these algorithms are already discussed in our previous lecture, but the objective of this lecture is we have to understand these methods by some examples. So we can better understand it by some examples. Now see, so how the K-means algorithm works. So K means the K number of clusters, the K number of groups which are being formed using this algorithm. This value of K is chosen by the programmer or the user. Now the programmer has to decide how many clusters they want to form from the available data set. So just see here, so partition of the objects into K non-empty subsets. This is what the objective of K-means clustering. So step 1, choose K points randomly from the data set as the K centroids. Centroids means the mean points which are basically representative of the K groups, K number of clusters. So basically initially what we do, we will randomly select K points. Suppose we have n number of data sets, we have n samples in our data sets. So randomly we will pick up we pick up any K samples as a initial K centroids or the mean points, and they will be representing their own clusters. Now just say we have selected K1, K2, K3 Kk. Now next, compute the distance of the each point with the above K centroids separately and assign each point to the group with the least distance among K groups. Just see here, so the K centroids are representing the K different groups. Now so what we will do here, we will compute the distance of each data point with respect to these K centroids separately, and which will have the least value, that will be the appropriate cluster number, appropriate group number for that class, for that data point. Suppose we are finding out the distance of data point 1 with all the K centroids K1, K2, K3 ... and among those the distance value, which distance value is the minimum, that centroid number or that group will be treated as the cluster number of that data point. Now just see here again, once we have computed all the distances and we have found out the appropriate cluster number for each data point. Now the step 3 is recompute K centroids again by average method and repeat step 2. Now again we will calculate the centroid values of those K groups, K clusters. How we will compute? By using the average method. Average method is saying that suppose in cluster K1 there are 5 data points. So we will sum up those data points. The data point will have, suppose there are 2 coordinates, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. So we will find out the centroid value. How? So x1 plus x2 plus x3 ... xk divided by k, comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 ... yk divided by k. So basically this is how we can find out the updated K centroid value of any particular group. Now once we have computed the newly centroids, K centroids, now we will repeat step 2 and 3 until the same points are assigned to each other. So again this step 2 and 3 will be repeated. So basically these two steps will be enclosed inside a loop, and this will be repeated again and again. Again we will compute the distance, and the least distance group will be again assigned to that data point. And once all the data points are assigned, we will compute the new K centroids, and this process will be repeated. These two step 2 and 3 will be repeated until we are getting the such clusters that all the clusters have only the repeated points, same points as the previous step. So this is how the k-means clustering works. So the objective of the k-means this is very important about the k-means clustering. The objective of the k-means clustering is to minimize the total intra-cluster variance or the squared error functions. Just see here, this is what the objective function of the k-means clustering, and we will perform, we will iterate this k-means clustering steps until we get the least this error function, this squared error function. So what is this error square function? Basically we are computing here the difference between xj xi of jth cluster minus cj center of jth cluster. So by taking the mod value, because it will give us the positive value. So by taking the mod value and its square value. So most of the time when we calculate this error, always we calculate in the form of the square term, so that we will get a positive value, as well as this square term we cancel out automatically when we will find out the differentiation of this function. Now just see here, f is the objective function. There are two summations over here. First summation runs from j is equal to 1 to k. So basically k is what? K is the number of clusters. So it will run k times over here for cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster k. Now the second summation runs from 1 to n, where n is what? N is basically the total number of data points in the classes. It means total number of samples in the data set, or we can say that with the total number of cases in the data set. So these are the total number of data points, or we can say that total number of samples, sample size also, total number of samples in data set, or we can say that the total number of cases in our data set. Now this is how, this is what xi jth means this is the data point value of the jth cluster. Cj is what? Cj is the center of jth cluster. So this is how we calculate the squared error function, and objective of this k-means clustering is we have to minimize this function. Anyhow, we have to iterate so many times these steps since we get this squared error function as a minimum value. Now the another main point is the popular method. There is an elbow method, which is basically used to determine the optimal value of k. So this is up to the programmer. This is up to the requirement of the data set, or the another method is elbow method, which can be used to determine the optimal value of k. The basic idea behind this method is that it plots the various values of the cost with the changing value of k, and then among those values which has the least cost value may be chosen as the value of k, initial value of k over here. Now just see here, it will be understood by a simple example. Just see here, we have these data points available over here, and we have to find out the two clusters. So we have to group these data points into two clusters by using the k-means clustering algorithms. Just see here, what about the data points represent over here? Basically each record is giving the first coordinate is the height and the second coordinate is the weight. So basically there are two coordinates in each record. So it can have any number of records. So just see here, we can say that here the first record has value x1, then y1, second record the x2 and y2, the third record x3, y3, x4, y4. Basically the first record is xi and the second record is yi. Similarly, in each record it can have any number of dimensions. Here the 2 dimension, it can have 3 dimension, it can have 4 dimension, it can have 5 dimension, it can have n number of dimension over here. So similarly x1, y1, z1, p1, q1, x2, y2, z2, p2, q2, x3, y3, z3, p3, q3. So this is how we can add any number of dimensions. We can have any number of dimension for each record. And just see here, there are 12 records. So all these 12 records, all these 12 data points have to be clustered into two clusters, have been grouped into the two clusters using the k-means clustering algorithms. Just see here, the first step says that randomly selects the 2 points as the initial cluster representative. So for example, we have taken here the data point 1 and 2 both as the K1 and K2, means the two as a two centroids randomly chosen over here. So the see here, first is chosen as a cluster centroid 1 and another second is chosen as the cluster centroid 2. Now step 2 says that the calculate the distance of all the data points with respect to this K1. Basically we have K1 and K2 over here. So K1 is what? Just see here, K1 is 180, 70. So just see here, K1 is what? 180 and 70. K2 is what? Second row is taken as K2. So 165 and 58. Just see here, 165 and 58 we have. So basically now we have declared here the two cluster center K1 and K2. Now the second step says that we have to find out the distance of all the data points with respect to the K1 as well as with respect to K2, and which has the least minimum value will be declared as its own cluster. Suppose K1 is already we have assigned to these clusters. The second data point is also already designed into these clusters. So first data point and the second data point, they are already assigned these clusters K1 and K2. Now we will start from the third. Just see here. So we will calculate the distance of third data point with K1 as well as with K2. Which will be the least one? Will be the cluster number. Suppose the data point 3 has the minimum distance with respect to 1. So what will we say that? So the data 3 will be added in cluster number K1. So this is how we will find out the appropriate cluster number for any data point. That is the step 2 says over here. Now see here, this is the table which we are actually saving the distance calculation from of each data point with the cluster K1 as well as the cluster K2. Just see here, data point 3. How we will calculate the distance? Distance will be calculated by using the Euclidean distance formula. Very simple formula. So under root xi, suppose xi and y are the coordinates of data point. So how we will calculate the distance with the center? So xc and yc are the coordinate of the center. So xc and yc the coordinate of what? Coordinate of K1, or it will be coordinates of K2. So just see here. So under root xi minus xc ka whole square plus yi minus yc. Basically here we are calculating the distance between two points. First point is what? Xi comma yi, and second point is what? Second point may be K1 or K2. So let's say it is K1. So xc and yc. So how we will calculate the distance? We will Euclidean formula, xi minus xc ka whole square plus and yi minus y2 ka whole square, and finally we will take the under root over here. Just see here, where for K1 x is 180 and yc is 70, and for K2 x is 165. Just see here, x is 165 and yc is what? 58 over here. Now we will calculate the distance. So the third distance of third point with respect to K1, under root this one square plus this square. So finally we get what? 7.07. And again the distance of third data point with K2. This is the distance of third data point with K2. So just see here, we will put these value in this formula and we get what? The 12.20. Just see here, distance of data point 3 with center K1 is this much, and with center K2 is this much. Which one is the least one? The first one is least one. It means that the third data point is very near to, is very much matching with the K1. So this third data point will move to which cluster? This will be moved to the cluster K1. So this will be added over here. Similarly, just here we will calculate the distance of the fourth data point. So we are getting 14.86 and 5.09. So this obviously the second one K2 is corresponding to K2 is minimum. So now this data point 4 will be moved where? This will be moved to the cluster 4 K4. Similarly, just see the 5, 2.23 and 21.4. So obviously this is the larger value. So now this fifth data point will come where? Into this cluster 1. Now just see here 6. So most of the time you do not need to calculate the final answer, calculate the final answer. We can just check it by just finding out this square term only. Just see here, if we talk about the sixth member, so we are getting what? We are getting 7 square plus 6 square under root, and for K2 the 12 square plus 18 square under root 12 square plus 18 square. Just see here, among these two definitely this this one will be minimum. 7 square plus 6 square. So no need to calculate the final complete answer over here. So definitely the sixth data point will come where into this cluster 1. Similarly, we can see that by calculating these values, just see here, we do no need to calculate the final values. It is already looking obviously looking that this one is the smaller among these two. Here 3 square plus 1 square is smaller than these two. Here the 3 square plus 5 square, 3 square plus 5 square is smaller than this one. So this is how we can find out the least distances and corresponding cluster number for all these data points. So we have 12 data points over here. Now just see how our cluster becomes after iteration 1. So basically in iteration 1, just see here in cluster K1 we have how many data points? First and second already we know that. Now third, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9 and 12, these data points will be in cluster K1, and remaining 4, 10, 11, these will be in cluster K2. So just here 4 data points are in cluster K2 and 8 data points are in cluster K1. Now just see here, we have to again recompute the K centroids value. How we will compute? By using average method. So average method says that calculate the x coordinate will be added, all the x coordinate will be added over here, divided by 8, and then the y coordinate will be added over here, then divided by 8. So this is how we are we are getting the updated K centroid. So the value of x is this much and y is this much. So basically what we are getting here, we are getting 180.62 x coordinate and 69.5 the y coordinate for newly computed centroid K1. Similarly for K2 also this will be calculated over here and we will get this much. Now again step 4 says that repeat the step 2 and step 3 until we get all the same points again reassigned to each cluster. So this step will be again we will calculate the distance. Here again we will find out the cluster number for each data point over here. Again we will recompute the centroids and again we will find out the distance. So this process will be repeated until we see that there is no any change in the shape of the clusters, and also we see that no data points, means the same points are repeated again. The same points are repeated on both the clusters as the previous iteration, as the previous system. So this is what all about the K means clustering algorithms examples. Now just see here, in the next lecture we'll see how the hierarchical clustering works over here. So already we have discussed in our previous lecture that hierarchical clustering is being used where we have a definite form of hierarchy. For example, if we talk about the directory structure of the hard disk, the file structure of the hard disk, it basically forms a hierarchical structure. It starts from the root folder, then again it has subfolders, again they have subdirectories and subfolders, then again subfolders and subdirectories, and then finally the leaf nodes are the files, txt files, exe files, any file extension. So similarly the hierarchical clustering also works for those data structure which has some hierarchy form of data. So basically it is of two types, agglomerative and the divisive clustering. So agglomerative and divisive clustering, in agglomerative clustering we actually follow the bottom up approach. So we start treating each individual data point as a cluster, and then we start combining, and in such a way that finally at the last level we get, at the last iteration we get a single cluster where all the data points belongs to it. So basically this is what the bottom up approach. Similar to divisive is a top down approach. So we start from a single cluster which is comprising basically all the data points. Then we start breaking into two clusters. Then again we start breaking into two clusters. So we repeat this process until we get all the clusters in which each cluster will have only single data points. So this is how these two techniques work. Just see in this example we have how many data points? 6 data points are there, and this is actually drawn on the xy coordinate, basically two-dimensional coordinate over here. And just see here, based on distance property, can we cluster can we perform the hierarchical clustering over here? Just see here. We start from the agglomerative clustering. So each individual data points will be treated as a single cluster here. Now we have to start combining these clusters. Just see here, both these clusters are very near to each other. So since they are very near to each other, so they can be grouped into a single cluster. So now we are forming a cluster by combining these two clusters, P1 and P2. Just see here, P1 and P2, these are being combined. Or what we are getting here, P1 comma P2 is a cluster. Now again, just see here, if we talk about P3 and P4, so they are very near to each other, P3 and P4. So we will combine these two clusters. So now P3 and P4 both are very near to each other in this coordinate system. So they will be combined, and finally we will get a next cluster that will have two data points, P3 and P4. Now just see here, P5 is also very near to this cluster. So again we can form another cluster which will have these two data points. Just see here, so this P3 and P4, this is one cluster, and this is P5 is a single cluster. So now again we will combine these two clusters, and we will get a final cluster which will have P3, P4 and P5, all three elements over here. Now just see here, P6. If we talk about P6, so P6 is very near to this cluster. This is far away from this cluster, but this is very near to this cluster. So now we can also combine this into by forming another cluster over here. Now what we are doing here, we are again combining these two clusters. So there P3, P4, P5 is a one cluster, and another cluster is P6. Now we are combining these two over here, and we are getting over here. Now finally we have two different clusters, cluster 1 and cluster 2. And just see here, we have finally two clusters, this one and this one. And just see here, the final cluster what we have here, just see P1 comma P2, here P3 comma P4, and here P3, P4 and P5. And just see here P3, P4, P5, P6. And finally if we combine these two clusters, so what we get, P1 comma P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, the single largest cluster. So just see here, what we do in agglomerative clustering, agglomerative hierarchical clustering, AHC. So what we do here, we start treating each individual data points as a cluster. Then we, by the property or the distance property, just see here, again we combine those two clusters, the nearest clusters, by combining into a single cluster, till we get a single largest cluster which will keep all the data points. So this is the bottom top approach. This is the agglomerative approach. And the reverse process is the divisive approach. What we do here, we start by a single cluster which will have all the data points. Then we will break up into two. So we are breaking up into P1 comma P2, and another the P3, P4, P5, P6. Then again we break up into two, P1 plus P2, and here this will be break up into P3, P4 and P5 and the P6. Again this will break up into the P3, P4 and P5. Again this will break up into the P3 and P4. So this is how at the last level we are getting the all such clusters such that each cluster will have only single data point over here. So this is how the hierarchical clustering works. So it will be understood is very easily by this example. So suppose we have a one-dimensional data set. It can have any number of dimensions. So since it is very easy to explain over here, so that is why we have taken only one-dimensional data. So it can have two-dimensional, it can have three-dimensional, it can have n number of dimensions of data. And we have to perform the hierarchical clustering, and we have to plot the dendrogram. So this is whatever this diagram we have drawn over here, this is a dendrogram. So we have to plot the dendrogram to visualize it, and using the single linkage, complete linkage and the average linkage. So basically these techniques have already been explained in our previous lecture. So basically we have to perform the hierarchical clustering over here using these three methods: single linkage, the complete linkage and the average linkage. So in single linkage, what we do, we find out the distance between two clusters by considering the nearest data points from each cluster, and complete linkage, we find out the distance between two clusters in such a way, means that that is the distance equivalent to the two data points which are far away in each clusters. And the third one is the average. So we find out the distance between every pair of data points from the two clusters, and then we find out the average, and that average is taken as the distance in between these two clusters. So basically these three methods will be used to find out the distance between two clusters, or we can say that to find out the similarity or dissimilarity between the two clusters over here. Now just see here, if this single dimensional data point is visualized over here, the first data is 6, so 6 corresponding to here, then 10, then next is 20, then 27, then 36. So after 35 and 36, it will come over here, 36, then 40. So just see here how this is represented in the single dimensional plot, and just see here how we can visualize. Just see here, these data points are very near to each other, they will come into same cluster. These two will come into same cluster, these two will come into same cluster, then these three will be combined in a single cluster, then these four can be combined over cluster. So just see here, we have here just basically the three different kinds of cluster over here. Now if we combine it, so since this cluster is near to this one, so finally these two clusters will be combined over here. So this is how we can visualize these data points in this one dimensional structure. Now just see here how we can perform, how we can find out the clusters using hierarchical clustering. So first of all, we will take the single linkage method over here. Just see here. So in this method, in each step we merge the two clusters whose closest members have the smallest distance. This is already discussed in our previous lecture. So first of all, we will sort the values as increasing order of their value. So just see here, so already sorted data points we have 6, 10, 20, 20. So these values should be sorted in an order. Now we will compute the distance between these two. Distance, how we will compute? Simply by taking the difference. So difference of 10 and 6 is what? 4. So positive value will be taken over here. Then 10 and 20, the positive value of this difference is 10. Then it has 7, 9, 4, 5, 10. Just here among these distances, which is the minimum distance? Just here 4. So since 4 is repeated 2 times over here, so this 4 will be selected as a least distance. And so since these are the least distance, so we can say that these two data points can be combined into single clusters. They are very near to each other. So then the next step, 6 and 10 are combined, and here also 36 and 40 are combined over here, and rest of the other data points are remain as it is. Now just see here, we'll calculate the distance. So okay, so now just see, 4 is the least distance over here. So these two data points are merged into single cluster. So 6 and 10 are merged over here. Similarly 36 and 40 is merged over here. Now we have how many clusters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of 8, now we have 6 clusters. Now again we have to calculate the distance between these two clusters by using single linkage. So just see here, this cluster has 2 data points. So how we will calculate the distance? Single linkage says that pick up the particular data point from the cluster which is near to the clusters. So just see here, 10 is the data point which is near to this cluster. 20. So we will pick up the 10 over here. So this difference between these two is 20 minus 10, 10. Now this is 7, no problem. Now 36 is very near to 27, so we will calculate the distance between these two. So 9 will come over here. Similarly among these two, 40 is the nearest to 45, so calculate the distance between these two data points. So we can say that the distance between these two clusters is 9 using single linkage, Similarly, the distance between these two data points is 5 by using single linkage. So if we talk about complete linkage, so instead of calculating the distance between this 40, we will calculate the distance between 36 and 45. So this is the difference between single linkage and complete linkage. Similarly, here we are taking the distance between 27 and 36, because 36 is nearer to 27. But if we talk about complete linkage, so we will calculate the distance between 27 and 40, because in complete linkage we calculate the distance between two farthest points. So farthest in the case 40 will be farthest. So we will calculate the distance between 27 and 40 in case of complete linkage. But here we have calculated the distance between the 27 and the 36 over here. Now just see. So now among these distances 5 is the minimum. So these two cluster will be merged over here. So now 36, 40 and 45, these will be merged over here and we will get a single cluster now. Now just see. Again we will calculate the distance. So the 10, okay, no problem. 7, no problem. Now 36 is the nearest to this one, so we calculate the distance between these two. So 9 will come over here. Similarly here 45 is nearest to 55, so the distance between 45 and 45 is 10. So distance between these two is what? 10. Now among these 7 is the minimum, so 7 is picked up over here. 7 means 20 and 27 both will be merged over here. Now we have merged over here. Again we have computed the distance. So among these distances 9 is the minimum, and then what we get here, so 9 is the minimum, so we will merge these two clusters. So these two clusters means 20, 27, 36, 40, 45. All these data points will come into single cluster. Now calculate the distance between these two. The nearest one is the 20, so 20, and here the nearest one is the 10. Both these two are the nearest, so distance between these two is 10. Now similarly here 45 and 55 is the nearest, so the distance is 10. Difference between these two is 10. Now among these two the first 10 is considered over here. Now we are merging these two clusters, so we are getting this. So finally what we get, we are getting two clusters. So where first cluster we have this kind of data set and the second cluster will have this kind of data set. So just see here, if we draw dendrogram for this above problem, just see here, these are the data points 6, 10, one dimensional data points over here. Just see, one dimensional data point 6, 10, 20, 27, 36, and first minimum distance is 4 over here, so that is why we have taken 4 here. Next minimum distance we have chosen 5, so 5 we have taken here. Then 7, then 7 we have taken here. Then 9, and the last one was 10. So these are the minimum distance we have chosen to combine the two clusters over here. The first 4 is chosen. So first 4 is chosen for combining the to finding out the two clusters. First cluster is finding out by 6, combining the 6 and 10, and another is what? 36 and 40. So these two are combined at the level of 4 over. Just see here, corresponding to 4. So 4 is the difference coming between these two clusters, so that is why they are forming the clusters at the level 4 over here. Now again, next is 5. So 5 is what? So 5 is basically by combining these two clusters, this one and this one. So again we are combining these two at the level of 5. Now next is 7. 7, how we get? 7 is by combining 20 and 27. So this will be drawn over here at the level of 7. Just see here at the level of 7. Now this next is 9. So 9, how we get 9? 9 difference. 9 difference is between what? This cluster and this cluster. So distance between this cluster and this cluster we are getting 9. So that is why we have done it at the level of 9 over here, and this is combining these two cluster over here. Now 10. 10, how we are getting the difference between 10? The difference 10 between this cluster as well as this cluster. So at the level we are drawing this one. So and finally just see here that we have two clusters. This is one cluster, and the second cluster will have only one data point, and finally we get two clusters. So this is what the dendrogram of this example using the single linkage method, hierarchical clustering. Now just see here, the same problem is solved by using the complete linkage. So complete linkage is what? We merge the two clusters whose farthest members have the smallest distance. So we will consider here the farthest members. While in case of single linkage, we have considered the nearest members. Just see here. So, first step is same. So 4 is the least distance. So both these two are selected to combine. The 6 and 10 are combined, and 36 and 40 is combined. Now here how we calculate the distance? This cluster have 2 data points. So which one is the farthest from 20? So definitely 6 is the farthest from 20. So we will calculate the distance between these two. That is why we have drawn an arrow over here. So 6 and 20 difference is 40. Similarly 20, 27, 7. Then 27 here. Farthest point is 40. So we will calculate the distance between 27 and 40. So 27 and 40, 30. Similarly 9. 9 how 9? Because farthest point is 36. So 36 and 45. So difference is 9. Now this is the 10. So among these two, 7 is the minimum. So 20 and 27 will be combined in a single cluster. So this is how we will calculate the distance, and we are merging the two clusters here, and finally at the last level we have two clusters. So one cluster have 6, 10, 20 and 27 data points, and another have 36, 40, 45 and 55. So just see here we have drawn the dendrogram like the single linkage over here, and this is how the result of dendrogram using complete linkage. And we will move very quick over here. And now this is the average linkage method. The first step is similar to previous one. So these two minimum values 4 and 4 will be considered to merge the two clusters over here. So the 6 and 10 and 36 and 40 will be merged over here. Now we are going to calculate that distance using average linkage. Just see here we have two data points, and here single data points. So how the average linkage works? So in average linkage we calculate the distance for each data points, pair of points. First we calculate the distance between 6 and 20. So we will get how much? 14. We will get 14. And then another distance between 10 and 20, then 10. So 14 plus 10. So we will find out the average. So first is difference is 14. So 14. Just see here. Another difference is 10. So 10. 14 plus 10 divided by 2. How much? 12. So we are getting the distance between these two clusters 12 over here. Similarly here 20 and 27. So that is 7. Just see here. Difference between 27 and 36 is what? So this is the 9. And the difference is 27 and 40. So this is the 13. So 9 plus 13 divided by 2. So we get what? We get 11 over here. Similarly here. So this is how we calculate the distance. So among these, so 7 is the minimum. So basically here we will merge two different clusters. 7 means we will merge 20 and 27. And here 7 means we will merge 36, 40 and 45. So these two clusters will be merged over here. Again we will compute the distance by using the average linkage method where this is what we get. We are getting two different cluster over here, the first cluster data points and the second cluster data point, and this is the final dendrogram of this particular problem using average linkage hierarchical clustering methods. This is all about the hierarchical clustering. Thank you very much.